everyone, it's Sharana from Para Waits, and today I'm going to be reviewing the NBC series Zoey's Extraordinary Playlist, Episode 8, Zoey's Extraordinary Glitch. You guys, okay? Zoey's Extraordinary Playlist is probably one of my favorite guilty pleasures that I've been watching since the series premiere. I think it was like back in February, like the beginning of February when the series came out. Like I said, I never have enough time to review everything that I actually watched throughout the week, but since we got some extra time during this Rona, I decided that I wanted to start reviewing Zoey's Extraordinary Playlist, kind of share some of my guilty pleasure shows with you guys. And I love Zoey's Extraordinary Playlist because it is kind of a musical show. Zoey, played by Jane Levy, she basically goes in for an MRI. There's an earthquake that happens, and then all of a sudden, people just break out into song and dance around her. And so basically, it's typically a different person each week, and she hears their song, and it basically deals with something that they're dealing with, and Zoey has to then help them resolve their issues so then she could stop hearing them sing. But it gives us a lot of drama. She's in a love triangle as well with two fine people, Max and Simon, even though I am team Max. I'm just saying, Simon, you cute and all, but you taking, boo, so she don't need to be messing with you. But I want to go ahead and get into episode 8, which was actually really fun for me to watch because the premise always deals with someone else having the issue, and then Zoey is the one who hears them sing. However, Zoey is having a very hard time this episode. Things are going crazy at work, but most importantly, her dad, played by Peter Gallagher, unfortunately, they were told by the doctor that his meds are no longer helping with his condition, and unfortunately, he's entered kind of the final stage of the disease, which will ultimately claim his life. And so as Zoey, what she always does is she wants to help everybody else with their problems, but she wants to run away from her problems. There is a lot going on. She got a lot of problems, y'all, but one of the best problems that I saw in this week's episode has to do with her love triangle between Simon and Max. And let me let you guys know, first and foremost, I am Team Max, okay? Because he's a good guy. He's been there with her through thick and thin since they were young children. And Simon, he taken. That is messy. That is unnecessary drama, okay? We want peace for ourselves in 2020, even though we really haven't gotten a good start to that peace. But I'm going to let it slide. But yeah, so I'm going to break this up into 3 different things. So what we'll talk about towards the end of the review of this week's episode is really what's going on with Zoey and her family, but also too what's happening at work, especially with Joan and Leaf, who she saw kissing at the end of last week's episode. I was like, oh my goodness, I definitely saw this coming, but I'm still traumatized when I saw it. And then also too this crazy love triangle that she's gotten herself into between Max and Simon. It finally came to a head. It blew up, okay? It blew up, and Max blew up on her, and I was like, good for you, honey, okay? If you're single, I'm a good woman, okay? I will love you. I will listen to you. I will enjoy flash mobs that you do for me at the mall. Anything that you need, Max, okay? So let's talk about work. So at work, there was a glitch in the app, and essentially the app is basically making anything that people put on their calendars, is sharing the calendars with their contacts. Also too is putting stuff for Christmas, basically for December 25th. And so Zoey has to be able to not only fix that glitch, but Leaf and Joan have been working on an app called Chirp. And essentially, they finally pulled Zoey in to basically help pitch this idea to their CEO, who looks like Mark Zuckerberg, like a really off-brand Mark Zuckerberg, Danny. And so basically, they need her to figure out a timeline that would allow them to have the launch of Chirp in 6 months, which Zoey's like, this is not possible. But however, as she's having a very awkward meeting with them because she knows she saw them kissing, and of course, one of the songs that she breaks out to in this episode, which this episode only has Zoey singing, which I think Jane Levy did such a fantastic job in this episode, especially with the physical comedy and the dance that comes into play as she breaks out into these songs. And so when she's in a meeting with Joan and Leaf, she essentially starts singing, I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus. And so it was absolutely hilarious because I was just like, girl, no, don't tell them that you saw them. But she literally cannot control herself from singing. We saw this when she first left the doctor's office from finding out about her father. When she started singing crazy, one of my oldies but goodies, she started singing crazy, and then she ends up actually singing it out loud in real life in front of Max. And Max is just looking at her like, girl, get it together. Like, what are you doing? What is happening right now? But she breaks out in the middle of the meeting when Joan is already stressing out on the fact that Danny is going to be in the office later that day and they have to make sure that this pitch is right so he will fund their idea. And so they're just staring at her looking crazy. I'm just sitting up here just dying laughing like, oh my God, this is so awkward. Like, I don't even understand what is happening right now, but I'm loving it. And now she's trying to leave the office, but then she has to come back to the office to finish singing the entire song. I thought it was absolutely hilarious. And Jane, fantastic job with the comedy, the physical comedy with the dance, with the song, which then prompts Leaf to think that, hey, he goes and confronts her like, hey, I thought it was a little weird with your choice of words for your song that you had today. And then she was basically like, no, I actually saw you guys kissing. And then she says, and I think you're up to something, which we know from last week's episode when Tobin was kind of having his little trouble in paradise with Leaf. And Leaf basically made a scene, or he alluded to the fact that he's only trying to get up in the walls of Joan, his boss, in order to help excel, to further speed up his career progression. And so Jane, why do I keep calling by her real name, y'all? Zoey. Jesus. Yes. Zoey basically calls him out like, hey, I know you're up to something. Like, you need to stop. I don't understand what this is all about. But she basically confirms to him, yes, I do know. I saw that you were kissing your boss and it's very inappropriate. But the funniest part happens when they actually end up having to pitch this presentation to Danny, who just loves his carrot juice. And when he asked for the metal straw, he said the environment. I was like, sir, stop it. Then later in the episode, he was like, what is this? When they brought him the straw, like, I already finished my juice. I was like, I can't with him right now. It's just too much. I just don't understand. But he was actually pretty funny, like just in a weird, creepy way. He was pretty hilarious. But when he asked Jane, when he asked Zoey for the timeline, essentially Zoey breaks out into song and dance once again. But this time, you know what? My team, Max could hear her singing and embarrassing herself in this boardroom. Joan looks mortified. Leaf looks mortified. Danny just looking like, I don't even understand what is happening right now. But Zoey breaks out into song and dance. Max comes in as the good man that he is to help save her. But really, I thought he was going to like kind of break it up. But then he broke out into song and dance with her. And I was like, Max, I don't know if you're necessarily helping. But then he brought it back full circle to pitching how awkward this situation was and how if she had the chirp in her ear, it could really help her try to land this presentation. But Joan and Leaf, they weren't feeling it. She was just like, girl, out of my face. I don't even understand what you guys were thinking. Why did you do the things that you do? But I was like, you know what, Max? All I know is you're a good man. But we're going to get into the drama with Max and Zoey a little bit later. But everything ends up going well. Tobin ends up fixing the issues that happen with the glitches with the watch. And then also, too, Danny ends up liking the very awkward presentation that Zoey and Max gave to him. And so he basically decides that he's going to fund the project. But Zoey makes sure that she does confront Joan about the fact that she knows about them. But then Joan started coming up with every excuse in the book on how she was going to wait to break up with Leaf. But I was like, girl, do you actually like him like him? Like, she's trying to tell you, girl, it's a trap. You in danger. Like, get away as far as you can from him. But I don't think she's going to listen. I think she's going to keep smashing her like employee, and that's probably not going to end too well for Joan. I hope that it does end well, but like I think Leaf is playing your girl. I don't know about you guys, but I just don't trust him not one bit, not as far as I can throw him, and I can throw him pretty far, but I still don't trust him at all. But that's pretty much everything that happened with that. But let me get into this drama, okay? Okay, y'all. So you know my man Max, he like did a flash mob for her, basically saying like, hey, I'm into you. I want to be with you, girl. You my real girl. You my heart, my soul. Like, I'll walk 500,000 miles, whatever it is, okay? He's been singing love songs to Zoey, this entire season. And so Zoey kind of confronts him and just basically says like, hey, like, I don't know how to answer this question for you. I don't know what my feelings are, but I just can't do this right now. But I do think we should still keep hanging out. And he was like, heck to the no. No more movie nights. You're not going to get all of this if you don't appreciate me. That's not like how he said it, but that's like how I imagine him saying it, how he should have said it to Zoey. But we see in the beginning of the episode when she basically asks him, like, talks about brings a movie night. And he's kind of just like, hey, still not ready for it. Like, no, I'm still not okay with it. But because Max is such a good person, a good man, a good friend, a good husband. Max, call me if you're still single. I appreciate you. But he basically ends up trying to help Zoey throughout the course of the episode. This is after he helps her with the boardroom situation with Danny. Yours. I said, you who? Max was looking like, you who? Because that sounded like you was singing me a love song, girl. Then she gonna try to play it off like, I don't know why I sung that, but like I was singing that to you as a friend. I said, baby girl, you put your heart and soul in that song because that was one of the best songs you did the whole episode. I think you meant it a little bit more than just friendship. Stop fighting this. You know you like him, girl. You know you like him. Stop it. He is good for you. Stop blocking your blessings, Zoey. Stop blocking your blessings. So she sung that song to him. I was like, oh my goodness. Like, they gonna finally get together. I've been waiting for this since the beginning of the season. Like, it's gonna happen. But then the devil is busy. So then she comes into a room because you saw her and Simon, they be trying not to flirt. Because, you know, Simon's engaged, okay? He's engaged, got a whole fiance, got a whole soon-to-be wife, but he's still up here going to Zoey, going to her house, asking her questions, talking about his dead dad, talking about all types of stuff that he needs to be talking about to his fiance about, okay? Your fiance, not your coworker. Just disrespectful to your fiance, too. That's why she was talking about say my name last week. So they supposed to be taking a time out because they understand that their relationship is highly inappropriate. They crossed some lines that they shouldn't have crossed. But however, they still flirting. Then you saw Max looking at Simon and them like, oh, you sitting there talking about how you can install the CEO and stuff. Oh, you do that for me? Of course. Y'all, back. Y'all need to definitely social distance as well because y'all being disrespectful and you're not adhering to the rules that you set in place in the previous episode. So Zoey, he told her about this little technique, and so she was finding herself getting worked up again. Her mom keeps calling her. She keeps having all these issues at work. And so then she busts in the meditation room, tries to start breathing, and guess who Raggedy behind in there? Simon Raggedy behind. And then guess what happens? Zoey breaks out into song. And what does she sing to Simon? I want you to want me. I said, Zoey, no, girl, don't do that. So Simon looking at her crazy. I'm looking at her crazy. Everybody else probably looking at her crazy too. Like, sis, like, don't do this. We talked about this last week that you was going to dead this and you was going to move on. But then she sings it to him and it looks like they're about to do something. But then Simon saw somebody and I'm looking trying to see who Simon saw. It's Max. And Max went in on her. I said, Max, tell her about herself. Read her for filth. Tell her. So basically he just says like, hey, you're singing two totally different songs, but let me help you. Let me put you on game, Zoey, because you're singing a song about love. Me, Max. Then you singing a song about how you're lusting, how you want somebody. How you sit up here begging somebody who is practically married to be with you? No. And if it was me, boo-boo, I would choose love. I said, Max, you drop the mic, Max. Tell her, read her, tell her how it is. I'm just like, girl, the choice is obvious. It is Team Max all the way. Oh, I just got a little bit worked up. I just need to calm down a little bit because it's hot. It's just hot. And I've been trapped in the house for a while. I'm sorry, y'all. I just got really into that. And so, I love how her mama, though, because even though she's having these issues with Simon and Max, she's still having the overall issue with her dad. And of course, who does Mama Zoey call to check on her daughter? She called Max, the good man, who should be her man. And then he even came back to check on her raggedy behind and be like, why is your mother calling me? Is everything okay? And then he basically gives her the pep talk of all pep talks. I said, Max, that is why I'm team you. This is why I'm ride or die for you, Max. You better tell the girl that you love that she can do anything she puts her mind to. She can get through anything. You will be there for her. You better tell her why you're a good man. I was like, you know what? This choice is obvious. I don't know why you keep talking to Simon raggedy behind, but what does she do? She goes talk to Simon and kind of tells him, like, I'm sorry about the song. But then Simon kissed her. I was like, sir, so I guess you're not getting married. Because at this point, you're just doing everything that you can to just not be a married man because you're literally kissing your coworker. I just don't understand it. And then they just walk away like, I'm not even dealing with this today. This has reached my threshold of what I can deal with in a week. So they just left and went their separate ways. So I don't know what the heck is going to happen. She ends up going home and she talks to her mom and she was trying to avoid the fact that her father was sick. And then she sang a beautiful song like, how do I live? I know I can't sing, but it's okay. It still sounded beautiful in my heart. But yeah, so she kind of confronts the issue that she's just not ready for her dad to die. She's not ready for him to go. She doesn't know how to really function in the world without him, and I thought it was a super sweet way to end the episode. But overall, I really enjoyed the switch up. The only issues that I have with the episode was the fact that where was Alex Newell? Where was Mo at? Where was he at giving me his fabulousness for the episode? That's the only issue that I had. But I understand this was Zoey's episode. So I'm going to let it slide for this week. But we're not going to let that happen again next week, because I need my dose of Mo, who has been serving up every look all season from head to toe. I just wanted to throw that out there. But I think that Jane Levy did a fantastic job of owning the episode. I like that they switched things up to not give us our usual week to week, like who's having these issues. I thought she did a really great job from a singing standpoint, but really from the dancing and the physical comedy that went into her actually singing out loud for everyone. I thought that was a super cool idea. I thought overall it really worked. And I just thank you guys for giving me all of my Simon, Max, Zoey love triangle drama. It was everything that I needed to see, everything I needed to hear. Max finally told her what it was. And I was like, Max, you didn't went off on her last week and this week, but this week's took the cake. I'm Team Max, you guys. Like, they're going to end up together. She's going to realize that she's being dumb about this. I don't know when, but I hope that it's soon. But those are pretty much my thoughts on this week's episode. Zoey's Extraordinary Playlist, episode 8, Zoey's Extraordinary Glitch. As always, my name is Sharana from Para Waits, and if you like what you saw today, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this video with your friends, and make sure you hit the notification bell. And I love you guys 3000. I'll see you soon.